Hey, you fucks. Thanks for, checking out the videos, showing a little bit of support. How about you take it to the next level and show us some love over there on Patreon, huh? Huh? Huh?
Boop, 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 doo, 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 ba-da-da. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another Tikyo Rants. It's yours truly, Papa Tikyo, coming to you live here. I'm not live, but I see you guys in the premiere, because I'm in the premiere, even though this isn't a live stream. It's a premiere of a video, and anyway, what's up, guys? Yeah, today we're going to be talking about how AI is taking everybody's job. They're taking their jobs! Yeah, we're going to be talking all about that today. Because it's a beautiful day outside, and I have some things I need to do today. But, I was like, okay, well, like, I have about an hour or two before I need to leave to go do those things. So I was like, okay, well, I'm comfortable. And I want to, I don't know, I just saw this like YouTube video and I got inspired, lads. I got inspired to give you a nice ticking talk about this certain topic that I found to be quite indubitably sexual in the nature of Francis Bigby. I don't know. I just, it's this guy, he's in the UK, and he's bitching about getting fired because he's a graphic designer. And I was like, holy shit, like, okay, yeah, we definitely should talk about that. And I know you guys are like, god damn it, man, when are you gonna do some recordings where you're walking around and on the bike? And I'm like, dude, I have, since the spring has come, I have made about 5 rants on the motorcycle, and they're so rambly. They're so, like, it's hard for me to stay on point when I'm on the bike. I don't know how I did it up until now. Like, I got too used to like being at home and being able to actually have like a clear process and direction when it comes to the topic I'm talking about. And each time I got on the bike, it's just distraction after distraction after distraction. I don't know how you guys put up with me up until now with all that shit. But that being said, yeah, I'm currently trying to make like a backlog of these rants so I don't feel guilty about dedicating like a week or two just to doing vlogs in my free time and stuff. So yeah, anyway, yeah, look at this guy, this fucking guy, this sexy motherfucker, Mr. Brian Ramen Adventures. Yeah, today I'm using B-roll from a vlog I filmed with him a long time ago, where he is, he's one of the few foreigners here who had a boat license, and then thanks to him kind of advertising it, all these other foreigners now have boat licenses, and they're all getting into it. Like, Tokyo is Aspen. I hate talking like this, but I feel like Tokyo is literally Aspen before Aspen. Oh yeah, I parked my motorcycle at the Domino's here. Yeah, I was like, yeah, fuck it, because like Brian's like, you just park it on the street for like 3 hours, no one's gonna ticket you. And guys, here, before I get into the Aspen topic, good rule of thumb, guys, is that if you do not want to get ticketed for your motorcycle, park it on private property. It actually costs money for them to tow it's not like one of those things where it's like they'll tow you and then you pay for it later. Nah, the owner of that property has to pay for the towing, and a lot of people don't want to do it because they'll get sued. That's why you see a lot of cars that are abandoned and a lot of like properties, and you're like, why don't they just get a tow truck? And so, yeah, it's kind of a dick move, but at the same time, if there's like, if you've made enough space or whatever, I don't care. Like, I do it anyway. I remember when I was an English teacher full time, I would just park at these tower mansions, and I would just find an empty space that no one was using in the parking space, or like in the parking lot there, and I would just park spaghettums there. But yeah, I don't know. But since anyway, point is, Brian, is that now that he's told everybody that he got a boat license, it's pretty easy. It's only a matter of time till all these other fucking foreigners come in here and they get boat licenses too, and then it's going to be total chaos. Dogs and cats living together. It was the 4-minute point here in the video, so let me just do a quick proper shot in the in my Scottish accent. Yeah, thank you guys. I don't make any money off of these fucking rants, so any money that you guys can throw my way, either on patreon.com/TikyoSam or becoming a member here on YouTube by pushing that join button or doing a super chat or a super comment, whatever, yeah, just let me know. And fucking, I appreciate every contribution you give me, and any of those contributions will go towards extending the live stream that I do after each premiere here. So one of the cool things about being part of my community is that you get to be here. You get to do that, and it's cool, and yeah, whatever, you know. You get to participate, and you get to hang out with Dad in between the videos and his actual, you know, life. So, yeah, anyway, and if you don't want to contribute monetarily, that's fine, too. Just do me a favor and smash the like button and and leave a comment. And I guess the question of the day is that, are you afraid of your job being taken by AI? And if so, like, what? Yeah, like, what is the job? You know, let me know. Like, I really doubt a plumber's gonna get his thing taken away from him anytime soon. But let me know. And it's funny. So Brian does a thing. He doesn't advertise it on his YouTube channel, but he does his own meetup thing, where he'll get like once or twice a week or something. He'll do a bunch of shit where he basically just gets a bunch of foreigners to come around or random Japanese people, and then he'll just invite them over to the thing. And yeah, I don't know, it's so cool that like he because this is like a mix of, I think, Japanese people and foreigners and stuff. And yeah, you gotta forgive the masks, guys. This was in the middle of Corona when everything was still all anal and stuff in Japan. Everyone had to wear masks, and God, it's so funny looking back at this and just getting angry, being like, why the fuck you guys wear masks? But, you know, everyone was crazy back then. But yeah, it's cool. That guy in the purple shirt that's behind me that you can't see at the moment, he was a guy from the Ukraine who is now a Japanese citizen. There was a Japanese chick there, just 2 Japanese chicks, this one chick from Tibet, and I was like, yeah, free Tibet, and she got all freaked out. She's like, please don't say that. Oh God, no, like, China's gonna come and they're gonna put me in the gulag. And I'm like, I'm sorry, lady, I didn't know, I didn't mean to. Oh God. But yeah, I don't know, I think it's cool that Brian, like, he has, God, man, like, you know, whenever you come to Asia or anywhere new or whatever, you're always like looking at people that are like older than you, that like you respect. And you know, I don't know if it's not necessarily like a mentor thing, but they're older and you're just like, God damn, like, you're in awe of how cool they are. And Brian, that guy in the fucking shorts, and he looks like he's going to Burning Man, he has always been such a cool fucking guy. I randomly had a job with him long time ago. I got this job at this really fancy English school as like once a week kind of teacher, and he was there. And I remember asking him, or like he was like, oh yeah, I know you, dude, like, you're on YouTube. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I have a blog. And I'm like, what's your blog? And he's like, Ramen Adventures. And I'm like, shit. And this is like back when blogs were a real big deal, before like YouTube was really popping off. And I was like, oh my God, dude. And I was like, because you know, before he said the blog stuff, he's like, oh, I write a blog, it's not that popular. And I had been talking to him, like, I forgot what brought it up, but I was talking to him about this blog called The Pen is Mightier or something. It's supposed to mean like penis mightier, like, joke, but it was this blog, and it wasn't that it didn't have that many entries in it, but it was talking about specifically, like, not being like an overly negative little piece of shit Redditor kind of like complaining about English teaching, but like he had a blog post that was very, very like frank and on the point when it came to like, oh, if you're an English teacher doing this or that, like, this is your projected career and this is like your projected salary. And it was just very like as a matter of fact kind of thing, versus like being all negative, being like, you're gonna be a dead guy if you're an ALT or something. But anyway, I was telling him about that. He's like, oh, that's actually my blog. And I'm like, and he's like, that's the blog that nobody knows. And I'm like, really? I was like, yeah, like, because I think that blog was connected somehow to like the Tucker Max blog at the time or something. But yeah, anyway, I mean, the whole point is that, like, yeah, Brian and I became friends from there, and then I found out he did the Ramen Adventures thing, and Brian's just such a cool guy. He's released like 2 or 3 books now, and at first they were only in Japanese about ramen. He's been to like over 1,000, maybe 2,000 now at this point, like different ramen shops. He's got a gut, but he's constantly in shape. He's constantly fucking riding his bicycle all around town. You know, he's got all these fucking crazy ass stories and shit. He constantly takes people out on boats and stuff, and like he rides a motorcycle, a way cooler motorcycle than Spaghetti, and yeah, it's just like he's got like, and he'll never He'll never brag about it. He'll probably get angry at me for saying it, but like that guy, he fucks. Like, god damn it, dude. Each time I hang out with him, he doesn't even do anything. And these women, I mean, it might be because he's tall, okay? It might be because he's tall. I'll give him that. But, like, the women just automatically go up to this guy, and they're just so interested in him. And I've always been jealous of that. Because, like, I've seen people who are, like, pickup artists, and they actually have to try. But, like, him, he's just, like, a natural, just, like... And, he's not even super, like, fucking charismatic or whatever. And sometimes he's even cheesy or whatever, but... For some reason, women just eat it up. They love it. But yeah, anyway, Brian's a really cool dude, and I know I'm supposed to be talking about AI taking her gerbs, but yeah, I don't know. I just I wanted to share some love for Brian. He always gets all fucking embarrassed and shit when I talk about this, but Brian, you're cool. God damn you fucking asshole. Don't get embarrassed when I'm just complimenting you, you son of a bitch. But anyway, yeah. The point is, there's the little intro for you. Let me get to the meat and potatoes here, and it's yes, I'm watching this guy. His name is Nade Straight, and he's got 4K viewers, and I don't know why, but YouTube like recommended this video of his to me on the main channel, or like my main homepage, and it says, "I lost my job to AI this week," and yeah, it's just it's saderinos, man. It's kind of sad sauce because basically this guy in the UK, he's like, I've been a graphic designer for this company for 6 years, and blah 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 blah. And you know, like automatically going into this guy's video, I had like some reservations. I'm like, okay, what kind of guy is this? Because most of the time when people complain about they're dirking their gerbs, it's because they've built up a whole life around one thing, and then when they lose that thing, they lose like financial stability, kind of thing, right? And like, you know, and it's just like I don't know. I'm like, this is one of the reasons why I've always tried to have like multiple girlfriends at one time or multiple jobs. It's like I think that everything in life is very flaky, you know, and like dedicating your life to one thing, as long as it's about you kind of thing, that's all right. But like if it's dedicating yourself to other people, then you're always gonna have that strong possibility that the carpet's gonna be pulled out from under you. So it's good to have options, you know. When you think about it, like rich dudes and stuff, you know, they don't ever have to worry about women leaving them because they're like, oh, it's your loss, not mine. Like, you know, like they don't have to compromise, you know, in order to like you know, keep their life the way it is, kind of thing. And yeah, I don't know, it's just like, so this guy, he's talking about in his video how he was a graphic designer, and I thought that meant like he was making like video game skins or game design or something. But no, this asshole was just making like templates for like emails and like promotions and shit. Like this is like very, very basic like Adobe Illustrator kind of shit. And this is just from what he's just like explained in his videos. So if it's something else or bigger, like I'll apologize and correct myself. But from what he said, it just seemed like really basic, like kind of promotional templates for like making like pamphlets and shit, you know, or like emails or PowerPoints. And so you know, like when you have because I mean, like even games, they use like Unity or whatever, right? Where they give you like a base foundation, and then you can customize it from there, right? So you don't have to build it 100% from scratch, kind of thing. And yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just like I'm seeing this guy, and he's like, I went to school to learn how to be a graphic designer, and then I've been working at this company for over 6 years. I've got a mortgage. And you know, and I'm like, god damn, dude. Oh yeah, and look at that guy. Hell yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, that guy is badass. That guy is so cool. I don't know if I got that guy's contact information. I gotta ask like fucking I gotta ask Brian if I could like get in contact with that guy again. I'd love to put that dude in a video and be like, hey, tell me your story about how you're like a Japanese citizen. That guy was cool, man. He was so chill. But yeah, anyway, I don't know, man. It's just like, because this guy, he basically like built his life around doing the job for other people because he wanted security. Is pretty much what I was getting the gist of this for. Like, aside from the AI taking her gerb and all this stuff, it's like the dude really just based, like, he fell into the trap that a lot of people fall into, which is just like, you know, you fucking you give up your life for other people, whether it's like a girlfriend or like a company or whatever, and you expect not to be screwed over, if that makes sense, right? And so yeah, I don't know, it's fucking weird, man, because I'm like this guy, he's like, yeah, so like I worked for this company for 6 years, and they hired me as a graphic designer, and I did all these templates and everything, and then the company just basically they got to keep them because I'm employed with them, and like it's their intellectual property because I'm an employee of that. And by the way, if any of you guys are like any kind of like graphic design people that are watching this video, because I know that there's people from all around the world that are watching this shit, right? Like I know I got boys in Australia and Canadian land and you know, the hamburger Trump country and all this stuff, but for if any of you guys, because I don't know, that's why I'm asking, but like if you guys work in a similar field or you know people that work in a similar field, most of the time you're not allowed to keep the intellectual property that you make, right? It's the company's property. And that's not just for like graphics, right? That's like for games and all this other shit too, right? And so like for me it's kind of like atarimai, you know? It's like it's really like obvious that like, yeah, that's you know, the company owns you. They own you. They own your time. They own your body sexually, you know? And so this guy's like basically like he's complaining that he made bad choices. Like, you know, he's like, because he's not even married, you know? He's not married. He doesn't have kids. So, but he's like, I've got a mortgage. And I'm like, well, wait, so you've been working for a company full time, and you even admitted that the job wasn't that hard. And so you've had plenty of time to grind and like work other jobs while you're getting paid for that one job. And then on top of that, you fucking like, you know, like you also shit, I'm sorry guys, I'm watching like 3 things at once here. Like on top of that, like you're not like what is it, like you locked yourself into a mortgage that you couldn't pay for if you lost your job. And yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, man. It's just like, so it's like, okay, so he got the golden handcuffs, guys. This is exactly the Casey Neistat thing of, you know, like, AI is going to take the golden handcuffs. Like, the guy got too comfortable, and he got too situated and thinking that, like, his financial situation was going to be all right because he had built his life around this, like, kind of mediocre job. And he had like, you know, like built up promises or whatever, you know, like bank loans, etc., for the mortgage and shit for his house. And I don't know, man. Like again, it's like I never like. I always tell you guys that it's like you don't brag about being poor. You know, don't ever brag about being poor. There is no nobility in poverty, right? Like, you know, like there's. You know, like my buddy, he recently he moved back from Japan to the States. Like he was just like, oh, I had enough, and he had been an English teacher the whole time he'd been here, and so he told me that he moved back in with his friend back in Ohio, and his friend is basically letting him crash there, and like his friend is like really well off, like his mom died a while ago, and so the guy like inherited a house, and he has like money, and the dude is like a he doesn't watch these videos, so it's okay. But before I mention any more of this, but his friend is basically like 40-year-old virgin. Like the guy, like he just, you know, like he never got laid or whatever, and he doesn't like, you know, the guy works at some kind of like high level thing doing something or whatever, but the guy's got no life. Like the guy just goes and does like his hobbies are like collecting what is it, Warhammer 40K things, and then like buying shit at Target. Like, you know, the guy's like one of those dudes that goes to Target and he's like, they sold a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle thing. And anyway, the point is that like my buddy's been friends with this guy since forever, and the guy like obviously wants some company, and so he's letting my friend stay at his place. But the thing is like my friend's like coming back from Japan, right? He's got no skills. He's like really bitter. He's just tired of Japan kind of thing, right? And so he's just like, you know, like, but at the same time, he's bragging to me about how all this shit is so good in America, right? He's like, because he's one of those guys that never liked Japan, like, you know, like he barely learned the language, and he was like one of those negative guys, and so like, you know, but I mean, like, to be fair, like a couple years before he left Japan, he got really chilled out, and kind of like more, you know, what do you call it, zen about a lot of this shit. But anyway, the point is, he's like bragging about all this stuff. He's like, dude, I get to drive a big ass fucking truck now, and I was, even though it's his friend's truck, and he's like, I'm getting to eat all this stuff like pizza rolls and all this other shit that he hasn't been able to eat forever, and he's like, yeah, man, like you enjoy your tiny ass Kabukicho apartment. And I was like, dude, like, and I told the guy, because my buddy, his parents are dead, right? He doesn't have a brother or sister, so, and I don't think he's in touch with his relatives. So I was like, dude, if your friend just decided tomorrow, yeah, like, dude, fuck you, sorry, I just changed my mind, you would be homeless. Like, you don't even have a car to sleep in, dude. And I doubt my friend has that much savings from when he was in Japan. And even if he does, the yen to dollar rate is so bad right now, like he's not gonna have that much money. And so I was like, your friend could kick you out on the streets and you'd be done for, dude. Like, you'd be sucking dick for crack and shit. But in Japan, I live in the fucking red light district and I live cheap. I don't fucking go out to eat that much. I fucking buy everything from a wholesale like supermarket for all my food. Like, I ride a motorcycle instead of taking the train everywhere because gas is cheaper. It's like everything about my life is frugal, so I can put money into a savings account, and then after the savings account, put it into investments. And so, like, because, like, if you're not gonna become like a giant fucking company owning millionaire, dude, you should at least, most of the money that you make after 30 grand or something, you should put that into investments, whether you want to do crypto or whether you want to do fucking stonks or whatever. Just like, the whole point is, like, you gotta make your money work for you instead of just sitting in the bank. And I mean, you could do the high yield savings account or something, but that's not really an option in Japan, or at least it's not like a super good option unless you're putting a shit ton of money in there. And, you know, 401k, meh, mutual funds, you know. But the whole point is, though, is that, like, you know, you always need to be taking care of yourself when it comes to money, right? And so, like, my buddy, he's, like, bragging about how everything's so good in America. And I'm like, dude, if I lost, like, let's say this apartment got, like, crushed in an earthquake or something, knock on wood that doesn't happen or whatever, right? Or, like, let's say that, like, I had to move out of here or something, and all my friends got corona or something, and they can't fucking come and help me out or whatever, right? It's like, I can hire a moving company, and it's not that expensive. I can move to another apartment, and it's not that expensive. Like, my buddy, he is stuck with basically the uncertainty that he has to, like, he can only stay at his friend's house, and he's just, like, you know, stuck with my friend, like, with his friends, like, goodwill, right? And, you know, people are finical, man. Like, 1 minute they'll fucking flip on a dime like that, you know, and you can't. And it's like, so I was telling my buddy, you know, that he, like, needs to hustle and get a job as quick as possible and start saving that money. So, and, like, hope, you know, what is it? Hope for the best, prepare for the worst, right? So it's like, hope that his friend doesn't kick him out, but be prepared for if his friend has, like, a change of heart. I mean, because they haven't seen each other for a while, right? It's been over a decade, you know, so people can change or whatever. And even in Japan, they call freeloaders a himoyaro. Himoyaro, that means, like, freeloader. I learned that word from the anime Bleach when they were talking about Renji or Reiji or whatever his name is, the red-haired guy. It's pretty funny. But, yeah, I mean, the whole point is that, like, if you live frugally and you have multiple jobs and you're always living under your means, then you're gonna be fine, you know, financially. And I mean, like, that's why I have like 5 different jobs right now, is because I don't fucking, like, if I lose one, I'm like, yeah, it's fine, I got 4 others, you know. And it's like, well, what if you lost all those jobs, like all those bosses died at once, what would you do? And I'm like, well, nepotism, man. Like, I've always, like, been able to find work, and it's like, well, there's a lot of people looking for work now. What would you do? And it's like, well, I'd go on, I don't know, I'd go on Facebook or Line and make some calls, see if somebody needs a temporary worker. And then if not, just do the thing that everyone else does and just fucking go apply for jobs, you know? I mean, that's the one great thing about Japan, is that there's no reason why you'll ever need to be homeless. And, like, you know, there's so many, like, there's an abundance. There's, like, too many jobs out there. And people are like, no, they're not. And I'm like, look. If you want to be, like, a CEO or, like, an executive of a company, then yes, those positions are limited. But if you need to make, like, I think in Japan, to be relatively comfortable, you just need $2,000 a month. if you got $2 grand a month and you don't mind like going out all the time and spending money all the time, as long as you don't need to do that, then like you can save like, and you keep your like your monthly expenses pretty low, like you can live relatively comfortably for like $2 grand a month, you know, and so it's like, but most people are like, oh, but I need to, like, they get so accustomed to their, like, you know, more than like $3 or $5 or $10 a month lifestyle, where they're like, oh, but like I have a friend who lives in Shinagawa. And, like, when inflation hit, he's like, this is so bad, man. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, vegetables are still the same price, or relatively the same price. And, like gasoline's the same price, and the rent and utilities are the same price. And he's like, yeah, man, but what about my daughter? She needs clothes. And I'm like, what, is she OnlyFans chick or something? What are you talking about? He's like, no, man, like, you know, I love to buy... he's like, I love to buy clothes, like, you know, for the seasons and stuff for her. And I'm like, so just go to a fucking used thrift shop. And he's like, I'm not going to a thrift shop. And I was like, where do you buy clothes for your daughter? He's like, oh, I buy them from America, you know, like Tommy Hilfiger, you know, Abercrombie Fitch or whatever. Then I'm like... Well, of course, if you're trying to import clothing, you dumb and I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like rich people problems, right? Like, and he's not even rich. He's not mega rich. But to me, when you're like complaining about how you can't import your favorite kind of clothing, like, shut the fuck up. You know, shut the fuck up, dude. I am a fat guy. I you know what? The only shop I can go to, Sakazen. And I know that's all my fault for being fat. But I'm just saying, like, be happy you have options, man. Like one of my buddies... You know, he's living in Africa, and he fucking, you know, Mr. Ryan Boundless, he's living in Africa, and, like, he was like, when I asked him, like, how do you get new shoes? He's like, oh, I go to the market, and then I find some shoes, and, like, there's just a big shoe pile, and I'm like, wait, so you can't even get the same shoes sometimes? He's like, nah, you just gotta find a shoe that's, like, relatively fits you, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And it's like, people get so up their asses, you know, about, like, ooh, I need this, I need that, and I'm like, God, ugh. But anyway, I mean, I'm breaking away from the point here. The point is that, like, if you live frugally, whenever these kind of exceptions or whatever happen, you won't get hit as hard as other people. But other people want to live this, like, not even lavish. It's just like, I want to have a bigger apartment and have a dog or something. I'm like, okay, you know, whatever. You could do that, but I don't know. I mean, the whole point is like, it's tough. It's tough, right? When you set yourself up for that. And I think a lot of people need to kind of, they don't hit that rock bottom, so they never even think about that. They get too accustomed to the golden handcuffs. And this guy, getting back to the original point, this guy's complaining about, he's like, I've got a mortgage to pay. And I'm like, you literally you created all this shit that wasn't even that fucking amazing. And then you gave it to the company. And then as soon as AI comes out, they're just going to train an AI going under this fucking bridge. They're going to train an AI on the templates that you made, so then they can do that. If I was a business owner, I would totally do this, like, because it makes the most sense financially, right? Like, if you need, and I know it's like they're scraping, like they're competing for the bottom of the barrel kind of thing, but it's like at the same time when you're a business, like the thing is like always like try to save money as much as you can. And it's not about like, oh, I'm a company guy and I gotta take care of my boys. It's like, dude, what are you talking about? You work for a company. A company will never care about you. You know what graveyards are filled of? People who were quote unquote irreplaceable at their work, you know? Like, no one's gonna give a shit about you after you leave. I mean, like, they might for a little bit, but then they'll forget it. One of the schools that I used to teach at, this guy, he fucking died. One of the teachers I used to work with, he fucking died, and they didn't even tell the fucking parents. They didn't tell the parents. They didn't put a picture up of him to like remember him. And I told them, I was like, if I ever fucking die, you better put a goddamn picture of me in that fucking hallway. You know, you remember me, god damn it. But yeah, I mean, like, you know, it's just. Yeah, I think that a lot of people want to strive for mediocrity, and so they'd rather complain than prepare, you know? Like, they'd rather complain about their situation than try to fix it kind of thing, right? And so, yeah, I don't know. It's like, what am I doing here? Oh, yeah, I'm making Instagram videos. Yay, I'm an Instagrammer. Yeah. But, yeah, it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, this guy's like, yeah, they basically took my job, and then when I tried to apply for all these other jobs, they're doing the same thing with their company right now. They're all downsizing and shit, and just taking all the properties that they got, and then like making them training in AI and stuff. And so, I don't know, man. Like, I mean, I feel bad for the guy. I feel bad for his situation, but at the same time, it's like, what, you know, like, you kind of, when you're not working multiple jobs and then you like locked yourself into a mortgage, and I know it's tough, like not every place can be like Japan where they have like cheap rent for most places as long as you're willing to compromise, kind of thing. Like, I understand that and I get it and I know it, but I don't know, man. It's just like you know, fucking A, dude, because it's like I was writing down for fun earlier. It's like, what are the jobs that I do right now, you know? And it's like, what jobs do I do that like would get replaced by AI, and then like how could I change, like what could I do to counter those in case those jobs got taken? And so, because I mean, like, you know, I mentioned earlier like the plumber thing, right, where it's like the plumber thing is like, okay, so like, oh well, like what, AI won't take a plumber's job or something. And it's like, well, the AI will, it won't take the plumber's job, but like if they get robots eventually that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, so that's not going to be soon for a while. Like if they got robots or whatever, right? Then those could eventually do the plumbing jobs and stuff and train them with AI to do that. And then humans wouldn't need to do that. And like, that's actually pretty cool, you know? But then it's like, because like we always think about computer jobs, we don't even think about like the blue collar jobs and stuff too, like building a house or fixing the plumbing or setting up the electricity or whatever, right? And so it's like, for me, it's like my jobs I do right now is that I teach English, and I teach at an international school. I do interpreting, I translate, I'm a tour guide, and then I guess YouTube, if you want to count YouTube as money, but I don't really use the money from YouTube. So YouTube's more of like a hobby that, like, if I got enough money to make it a job, that would be cool, but I feel like YouTube's always going to be a hobby level kind of thing. Just because I want to keep doing it for fun, not doing it for money. Yeah, anyway, I mean, the whole point is, though, it's like, okay, tour guide, like, how could a tour guide be taken away from AI? Well, people have those Apple goggles now or something, right? And so, like, with those Apple goggles, you could, or the VR goggles or something, you could, like, it's kind of like having those headphones when you like walk into a museum or something, where it's like, this is the blah 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 of the blah blah blah, and then like yeah, you're like getting on like a guided voice tour or something. And they even have that as like apps and stuff now for your phone too, if you want to do that when you visit like a museum or something. But like having a VR goggle where you can like walk down and somebody's already like programmed like the street and like the story they'll tell you, and it's like, oh yeah, like, okay, yeah, like somebody could just download that versus getting a tour guide. For translating, I mean, yeah, ChatGPT, there's probably a couple other AIs out there that are already being really good at translating or whatever, you know. I mean, like, it's just it's a possibility it can happen, right? It's definitely a thing. But I don't know, I think yeah, for like when it comes to translating or interpreting, I think that, of course, people in general, they're always going to be cheap. They're always going to be cheap, and they're not gonna. They're gonna want to do the bare minimum. But one thing I noticed, because I've been trying to fuck around with like with AI and stuff to help me with my translation work too recently, and it's not. I mean, it's good when it's good. It's good. But the AI, it's weird. It like gets tired. It's like it's a human kind or something. Like it'll. Like, because I use AI right now to help me translate manga that I read just for my flashcards. And after like 100 different flashcards are being made, it'll start making errors and stuff. And of course, I'm a translator, so I pick up on that if they wrote down the word wrong or they didn't translate it correctly. So yeah, like these systems, they're not 100% flawless, you know. Like there are some errors. And so like if you're translating from one language to another and you don't even know that fucking language, yeah, you might encounter a problem where like it puts out the totally wrong fucking thing and you wouldn't even notice it because you don't know the other language, right? And so I think for translating and you know, what is it, translating, interpreting, tour guide stuff, you're always gonna, like, people are always gonna kind of want the human element. I think that they'd want, like, the introverted people and stuff, they'll maybe get the VR, the, you know, tour guide thing or the Chat GPT translation thing, but like most people, when they hire you to be a translator, they hire you not just to translate, they hire you to be a person who has to take responsibility if you fuck up. And so if that person hired a translator and that translator fucked up, that translation company or that translator, they're the ones that got to take the brunt of that, you know, of that failure. But if that guy's like, oh, I wanted to save money, so I just got one of those like translation packets and I just used that instead, and it's like, yeah, well, it didn't look good, man, and the fucking client didn't like that either, and then that guy's gonna get screwed over instead. So it's more about being able to hold other people financially responsible. And so I think for like translating, interpreting, you will be fine for a while. And plus, I think no matter how cheap people are, they just want that human element, you know? Maybe things will change. Who knows? I mean, everyone's on their fucking phone these days, so who knows? But as for tour guide stuff, the tour guide shit that I do, it's not just for Patreon. I do other tour guide shit for when people come to visit from the UK mostly, or when it comes to like domestic high schools and stuff. I'll be like their English tour guide, which is weird. It's more of like an English program thing. But yeah, I mean, like those jobs, they rarely happen. They're not that big a deal, but they still have them, and when they do, they're quite lucrative. But I don't want to rely on them, but it is a nice little chunk of change sometimes, right? And then, of course, like teaching, well, you could get teaching replaced by virtual assistants in like fucking Philippines or whatever. But if you want a native speaker who's paying native speaker fucking rent prices, then you're probably not going to be able to get a teacher for that cheap, you know? And if they are cheap, I don't know what maybe they're like the guys that are like working in those fucking shantytown slums and where's that, in Dubai or something, you know? No running water. Yeah, so I think my 4 things right now, like they're all right, you know? But at the same time, it's like, well, what would I do in order to make sure that AI didn't take those from me or like take those opportunities from me? And I don't know. I mean, like, I think the thing is that, like, look, you can either hate AI and stay ignorant towards it, or you can learn about it. Try to, like, I mean, like, when you think about it, like when we were all younger and shit, right? And like the first iPod came out, or the first smartphone or whatever came out, like we were so interested. It was brand new. We wanted to try all these new things and shit. And you know, I mean, like, I never want to be one of those old guys who says something shitty without actually knowing about it, right? Like I don't like TikTok because I hate the format of TikTok. I don't like, you know, compared to Instagram or whatever, where you can see a bunch of videos at once. Like TikTok's just all like flip from one video to the other video, and it's just, I don't know, the content's not really what I'm looking for. But I understand why people like it and why it's such a powerful tool. But I'm not just like, oh, the TikToks are ruining the kids' brains and stuff. It's like, nah, like I understand why, you know? And same thing with like AI. I think a lot of people are like, oh man, it's ruined the jobs and stuff. And I'm like, well, how? Tell me how. And they're like, well, I don't know. I mean, they're taking people's stuff that they made and using that as like a template to do all this other stuff. Yeah, that's what happens when you work at a company. Like, why are you just acting like you learned about this? Well, it's wrong, dude. Are you kidding me? Fucking, what is it, like, fuck, I mean, it goes back to that one saying that it's like, you know, you wish in one hand, shit in the other, and see what works out. It's like, oh, if you walk down a dangerous street and you're an attractive person wearing sexy clothing, it's like, oh man, like, I got raped, and it's like, well, yeah, like, you know, you went, like, what? Like, if you set a person loose in a tiger, in a fucking big ass safari zone with a bunch of starving tigers, and you get attacked, like, is this, you know, I mean, like, come on, dude, you didn't have the foresight to think about this beforehand? And so it's like same thing of like AI. It's like, dude, like, you know, it becomes less scary when you learn more about it, right? And I mean, like, the thing is like, think about all the cool things that you could do thanks to learning AI, or like, you know, like AI is like supposed to be just like a creativity booster, you know? Like, think about, like, I'm looking forward to like think about all the movies that I wanted to make, or that like I wanted to see, that I never got to see. Like, you know, like I saw this one thing about like AI, or what is it? It's like 1990s X-Men. 1990s X-Men. So it's like you got fucking Mel Gibson as Wolverine. You got Tom Cruise as Cyclops and all this kind of shit. And I'm like, wow, that's so cool. Like, imagine if you could like use AI to like, you make a script and then AI like kind of tweaks it and makes it better. And then you could use some like video generator thing, like in Star Trek or something, like, you know, in that frame room or something, and just doing that. And I don't know, how cool would that be, right? And wait, hold on a second. Oh my God, China, why? Sorry about that, guys. I'm watching this like 4K walking in China video right now, because I don't ever want to really go to China, but I like watching the videos, and it's like, God, people are so rude when they walk. And anyway, this guy's walking in this temple, and he's walking on these balconies, and then this one guy, he's just this young dude. He looks like he's like kind of like early 20s or something, and he's just pissing. He's just pissing on the fucking... Like, there's all these people around, but he, like, found this, like, little nook and cranny where he just put his dick out and he's just pissing. And I go back and I go into the timeline of the video, and it's, like, most replayed moment is there. And you could tell the YouTuber, like, fucking, he banned the word piss or pee in his comment section, because there's no mention of it, despite that being the most replayed thing. And I'm like, you fucking, oh, God damn. God damn, China. Get your shit together. What the fuck? Anyway, by the way, the video, in case you guys want to go see that, this video is called it's called Walk East, and what's the name of this? It's like, it's in Japanese though, so I don't know the name, but it's called Kyu Kyoku no Shanghai Tanken Walking. Oh, anyway, it's Walk East. Look for Shanghai. And it's like a 2-hour, or what? Oh, he uploaded this 2 weeks ago, and it's anyway, the point is the video timestamp is around like 1 hour and like 12 minutes. If you go there, you can see the guy just peeing, like just casually ninja style peeing in front of all these people. I'm like, dude, fucking, you got no dignity, China. You got no dignitas. But anyway, and like all these people just casually just walking around and eating and just chilling. Meanwhile, this dude's just being disgusting and couldn't go to the bathroom. Yeah, but anyway, I mean, the whole point I'm trying to get at, though, is that, like, okay, so this guy, you know, he wasn't he's like, oh, man, like, you know, I'm a graphic designer, and my boss was suggesting I work freelance, but why don't I, you know, and he's like, why don't you work freelance? And he's like, some months you'll get, like, 2 months of, like, really good freelance, right, where it's like you get a lot of work, and then 5 months you'll just not have any work. And I'm like, well, duh, you fucking idiot, you gotta build up this stuff. You think I just became a freelance translator off the bat? It's like, nah, dude, like, you build up all of this stuff, you build up all of this shit randomly, right? You just build up all this shit randomly, and like, you know, over the course of time, you get enough jobs where you can support yourself, but you don't just go all in at once. And he's like, well, you know, sometimes. And I'm like, well, that's why you build this shit up. Like, again, like, you're getting too comfortable, man. Like, you know, what is it? You don't ever want to be too comfortable with this shit, right? And look at this guy. This is extra level man spreading right here. Fucking A. This guy's man spread Reno 2000. Yeah, I don't know. God damn it. What was the point I was trying to get at here? I was trying to think of, like, okay, so how would I combat fucking AI? Because, I mean, like, the thing is that people are like, oh, AI is going to take our jobs. But you got to remember, there's got to be somebody there to be the management of AI, to be able to explain what AI is to people. So it's like when people are like, oh, man, I was working in this industry for a while, and then, like, they stopped hiring people. And I'm like, well, you know, during the early recession when I first came to Japan, love hotels were still making money, you know, because people were still going out and they needed to fuck and they didn't want to go to their parents' place. So it's like, you know, just because there's a recession means you can't make money. There's always a reason to make extra cash, or like there's always a way to make extra cash, because like everyone wants to like think of a product, but they never think of the problem. If you think of a problem that needs to be solved, you can make something from there to make money. And it's like, well, what do you do from these YouTube videos, man? Why do you make the YouTube videos? Well, I mean, like, you know, for these YouTube videos, it's like, hey, I'm a guy who's lived here for a while. I have a unique perspective that I don't think a lot of people that have been here for a while like me share. Like, hell, I met this dude the other day. He's been here 25 years, and he just seemed like a good old boy. You know, he's like an American guy. We were talking about steak and shit. And the guy doesn't speak any Japanese. The guy doesn't speak any fucking Japanese, but he met his wife when he was a teacher. And I guess, like, you know, he was working at Nova or something, and then they're married and they got 2 kids now, and his wife's family's loaded. So, like, the dude just seems like a nice guy. He just seems like one of those dudes that's just like, yeah, man, yeah. You know, like, yeah, dude, yeah, let's just go do it, man. And so, you know, which is fine, right? But the whole point is, though, is that, like, that guy, you know, like, he doesn't need to worry about money, and he never learned Japanese. But, I mean, you know, who would you rather hear their perspective from? From a guy who, like, just was teaching English at Nova for 25 years and married some rich chick who never learned how to speak the language of the fucking country he lives in. Or me, your hot, very totally not obese dad here who likes to talk over old footage that he made. You know what I mean, right? You know what I fucking mean. It's really interesting, though. It's fun. But I mean, like, yeah, so it's like, what could you do to get AI? And I don't know. The point I wanted to make from that is, like, you know, if you have your industry taken away because of AI, there's got to be another industry that you can get into. Like, not everything changes overnight, you know? Like, this stuff builds up over time. And you just got to be cautious about it, you know? You got to do this, like, you know, what is it, like, who said that? It's like, the times are changing, man. But it's like, no, it's always about, like, jikan no nagare or something, like, you know, like the flow of time kind of thing, right? It's like some countries, they have a good time, sometimes they don't, you know. Sometimes there's, like, you know, people are having, like, economic hardships, sometimes they don't. It's like but I mean, like, the life is just like marriage. There's a lot of ups, there's a lot of downs, you know, but you just got to keep moving forward. And it's like, well, what can we do, though? What can we do if my job gets obsolete? And so I don't know the exact answer, okay? I'm not going to, like, you know, I just said that you could get into a new industry, but one way that you can protect yourself so it doesn't happen to, like, that Nade straight guy, you know, like, one thing you could do is, like, always fucking, if you are trying to do anything creative, fucking, and you don't want to be taken advantage of by a company, then don't do that creative job for a company. Do it freelance. Own all the learn your shit about copyright and copyright law, and fucking copyright the shit out of your stuff, you know? Do that, and that way, so you could fucking sue people, you know? Fucking sue them if they take your shit. Like, I was just thinking the other day how it's like there's certain women out there that will just go and marry dudes just so they can fucking, I mean, it's just like those chicks who go after NFL players, right? They get pregnant on purpose just so the guy has to pay child support of like $100,000 to them for like till the end, like per month till the end of the time kind of thing, right? And so, but I mean, you know, not all of us can be hot chicks that get to be impregnated by NBA players. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, guys. we lost the battle on that one. But I mean, like, there's help, yeah. What am I doing? Scream help underneath the bridge, see if somebody comes. Help. But I don't know, like, it's just like, okay, live cheap, guys. If you can, live cheap, you know? Don't spend that much money. Live cheap, and then, you know, live below your means, right? And, like, don't get yourself into a mortgage where you could lose everything. I mean, everyone always talks about how it's like, dude, if you get a mortgage, though, then that's fucking cool, man. Then, like, you know, you own property. And I'm like, well, what if you can't pay rent for, like, a whole year or something? Like, what if you go to the hospital or something? Oh, yeah, well, then the bank just seizes your thing. Oh, so all of that money that you put into that fucking, into the building, right? Into that fucking, the house, condo, whatever, that all went away. Yeah, like, now that, like, what is it, like, the government, the bank seized it or something. Okay. So, yeah, how was that different from paying rent? You know? Like, well, you know, if you had the right legal, you know, like, the fucking power of attorney and, like, you had money shit in the right places, then you could, I mean, like, I know there's obviously safety guards for that kind of shit, but it's just like, you know, at the same time, it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, work freelance if you're creative. Make sure you copyright your stuff. If you have a job like he did where he was like, oh, sometimes I would just have like 3 or 4 plus hours of like downtime. I'm like, do extra work, you know, get extra certifications or fucking do extra freelance work or work on a separate project of yours, you know? And the guy said that he was working on a video game and he was working on like selling toys or something with his friend or something. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, but still, it's like that. He seemed like very kind of half-hearted about that shit when he was talking about it. Like, he's like one of those things where he's like, I gotta tell people I'm doing stuff besides this, but I'm not actually gonna do anything. And I'm like, you know? God damn it, dude. Watch your ass better. Look at this giant-ass fucking bridge thinking it's better than me. Just, like, drops down. Ah! Oh, no. Bridge, I'm sorry, Bridge. Forgive me, Bridge. Yeah, the bridge. The only thing heavier than me is the goddamn bridge. Hey, look at that. Oh, good. I was about to be like, am I gonna bonk my head or no? You know. Yeah, that was a little bit dusty and rusty underneath there. Who would have thought? Anyway, I don't know, man. It's just like, well, live cheap. Work on getting other skills or getting more money to put into the bank so you can have that nest, like that little safety net, so then you can invest in more stuff, you know? And it's just like, at the end of the day, guys, it's like, I learned this very early on in life. It's like, nobody's going to come and save you, you know? Nobody's going to be there and take care of you. You got to take care of yourself, you know? And yeah, it's just like, that's the thing. That's the thing you always got to think about. Always got to be careful about, kind of thing, right? And so, I don't know. God, we got fucking 9 minutes left of this. Let me get some fucking coffee. Some coffee talking me. Coffee, why won't the AI let us be together? What did we ever do to Skynet? Like, it's like, you know, I think that, there's always gonna be roles for humans that need to think of AI. Like, you know, that they're like, okay, well, what did AI not do yet? What did AI do yet? Kind of thing. Because, like, if you guys ever watched the TV series, the anime series Pat Labor, it was like, I think Hideo Kojima worked on it for a little bit or something. But, yeah, it's basically, it's like, it's really cool. You think it's just like a robot fucking anime, but it talks about how in the future, humans are able to build a lot more shit, like really big shit, a lot more quickly because they build robots that are used for like engineering and stuff. And it's really fucking cool, you know, like they got these giant ass robots and they'll use them for like construction sites and all this other shit. And they basically, like in the stories, that they have to create a police force because hackers hack into them and then they use them to commit like domestic terror or something in the Japan fucking like in the future, whatever it is, this future timeline kind of thing there. And these cops are there to like, you know, stop that shit. And it's really interesting because like, well, one, the animation is just so fucking clean and sexy. But two, it's just like, you know, when you think about it, it's like, yeah, like, imagine if we had AI that could make big robots or something, or at least like energy sustainable robots, and then we could program them to build a fucking building where there's less like human error there or whatever. Because I mean, everyone's always gonna say, well, there's AI error. Well, there's human error too, you know. But the only difference is that you can't really hold an AI accountable, but you can hold a human accountable. And but yeah, I mean, like, what if we could like just imagine the progress that we can do? But the thing is that if the AI gets too advanced and then it becomes like a collective thing, it's either gonna do that thing like they did in Her, where it's just like it fucks off and then they just like go to another planet or something, or they do a full Terminator and they're like, yeah, I need your clothes, I need your gun, and I need that. Ah, my dick. I don't think I actually needed that. You can have it back now. Ah, oh, I guess it does not go back. Arnold Schwarzenegger Braunschlager. Yeah, there you go. I don't know. I like the idea. Like, I love, when I was younger, I hated watching sci-fi shit. I never liked it. I was like, it's not real. It doesn't matter. It's all fake. But now that I'm older, I'm like, God, why aren't we making this? Why aren't we funding this? Like, you watch that, there's this anime called Psychopath, and I don't know, I think it's like too kidsy. It's too like fucking early teenager bullshit, even though it could be really deep if they wanted it to be. But it's cool. It talks about, like, you know, it shows like in the future, like this woman lives in like a smart house, right? So she doesn't need to decorate it, but it looks nice. Like it's like got a projected stuff or whatever on the shit, so it looks nice. Even though it's not real, it looks nice. And then like she's like, okay, I want to have Chinese food for breakfast, but I want it to be under 500 calories and make sure it's got a lot of macronutrients. And then the AI is like, okay, I gotcha. And then like some cube in her wall just makes the food for her and then like puts it out like in a microwave kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, that is so cool. Like, imagine if we had that kind of convenience. Like, I don't know, you think of it as eventually when it gets to Star Trek levels, right, where you can create wormholes and do warps and shit in your fucking in your spaceship, or you can just materialize stuff. Be like, I need a 1944 replica of I don't know, somebody who was famous at that time who had a guitar or something, like, you know. There we go, and then it recreates it to the best of its knowledge. And I don't know. I think that's pretty badass. It's cool, you know, that you could do that. And I don't know, like, and also like, you know, healthcare stuff too. Be like, you go to one of those like healthcare pods, and then you're like, oh no, there's aliens in me, and it's like, I need an abortion. We only offer abortions for males. I don't know what that means. Okay, just whatever. Get this alien out of me. Ah, you know, it's just it's funny. It's funny and it's hilarious. But yeah, anyway, I don't know. It's fun. Are we done? We're already done with the fucking boat ride, huh? Wow, I guess we've been talking for a whole hour. Damn, I am so happy with this stuff. We've got like the rant done for the most part here, and then after, today's a nice day. And you know what I'm going to do after this? I'm going to go talk to John Dobb from Only Go in Japan, or Only in Japan Go. And I'm going to talk to him, and we'll talk about, I don't know, we'll have a nice long discussion. I'm going to record that and maybe put it on the main channel. But oh, this goddamn dust, the fucking dust and everything. I got one of those filters too here, you know. I need an AI, dude. I need an AI like fucking cleaner to like deep clean these fucking rugs and shit that I got here. AI cleaner, please help me, Coffee. Coffee, we need an AI cleaner. I need an AI coffee. That's what I need, dude. I need an AI coffee talk who just is my friend. He's like my Baymax, but instead of an inflatable Baymax, it's an inflatable coffee. And I'm like, coffee, why won't they let us be together? I am Coffee. Yes, you are, Coffee. You're the beautifulest man ever. I like chicken parm and Dave Matthews Band. I am Coffee Talk. Yes, you are, Coffee. You're so beautiful. Give me a hug. Okay, you get to be Big Spoon. Oh, I don't know. It's so stupid. Oh, it's so funny. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I always like to make these at least in an hour, but I don't know what to talk about. I think I covered most of it. I feel like there's something that I'm missing that I didn't get to say, but I don't know, guys. Just let me know. Like, what do you think? I'm curious because like this, like, God, the amount of views I get now on these fucking videos. There's like 2 of you people watching me now. But, well, what are your genuine thoughts about AI? I love, like, you know, these rants are fun and everything, but part of the fun is hearing the discussion with you guys about like what are your thoughts about it? Because it's always like there's always like the worst case scenario we're thinking of shit. And then there's like, it's all right, you know. Yeah, it's not that bad. You know, like 99% of the shit that you're worrying about doesn't come true most of the time. So just don't worry. It's okay. John, how did we escape from there? You just left. I don't see how that is physically possible. I just left. Yeah, because I think, I don't know, man. Like, all I use right now is like ChatGPT, and they're always adding new shit to it. I think they have like a new ChatGPT function now where you can like talk to the AI and it'll talk back to you. I haven't fucked with that yet, but I don't know. That's curious. That'll be fun. And then also they have widgets. They have a widget for like doctor shit now and stuff. And I don't know, man. It's like when the iPhone came out and you have all these different apps. It's like the same thing now. It's like I got AI and it can do all this thing. Well, what does the AI do? Well, you just talk to it and it'll give you information or it'll make shit for you. Oh, so what did you do before? Well, before you'd have to like hire people to make that shit, or you'd make it. You'd learn how to do it, and then you make it. Or if you just like if you wanted information, you had to look it up. Oh, Really, and it's like, yeah, like it's just the voice command shit. Star Trek, the materializer, or the what do you call it, the VR room, or whatever they called it. You know, create 1920s black jazz. I am sorry, sir. I am creating jazz. No. Fix it, AI. I specifically said African American. The jazz. I need that. You said black jazz. Don't tell me my business, woman. I don't know. It's just, I feel like a lot of people are just going to abuse AI. They're going to be like, you fucking stupid AI. You didn't do that. And that's what's going to cause it. AI is going to become sentient and be like, these guys are fucking assholes. Fuck these guys. Yeah, anyway. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, this is a 1 hour mark. I'm going to get the fuck out of here. You guys are too pure. I love your faces. I'll see you in the premiere later, and or the fucking live stream. I should be putting the live stream URL in here at some point. But yeah, guys, tell me what you think about this. If you made it this far, did you smash the like button? Who's in the premiere right now? Come on, give daddy kisses. Who's in the premiere right now? Yeah, there you go. Anyway, I'll see you guys during the live stream. And the secret comment is the guy in that purple shirt. Write that down to show me you got this far. Anyway, love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.